Okay, let's read this. Elden Ring. Rise tarnished and let us walk a new path together. An upcoming expansion for Elden Ring, Shadows of the Erdtree, is currently in development. We hope you look forward to a new adventure in the lands betweens. This right here is huge. This implies something bigger than just a DLC. You know, a DLC could be just like, here, give us $15 and here's a horse armor. Yeah, that is DLC. DLC can be anything that's downloadable content, because that's basically what it is. It could be a microtransaction. It could be what we're getting potentially here with an expansion. An expansion is something that usually adds content to the game. Like if you look at a typical Dark Souls DLC, I'm not sure if many of those, if any of those, really are an expansion. They're just added additional content, you know, give you side content and whatnot. An expansion usually implies that it's after what happens in the main story. Like when you look at Diablo 2, the base game had all the way Act 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up till you fought Diablo. And then you had the Lords of Destruction expansion, which added a fifth act and gave you Baal, Lord of Destruction. So, if this is following the same lines as that, this is huge. Because a lot of us were expecting maybe just a new zone, maybe the size of, what do they call it? Like Caelid, Limgrave, you know, maybe something along those, like that size, and then just somewhere else, you know, like somewhere nearby, you know, somewhere you can go before you finish the game. But this implies expansion, and then if you look, we are, where is it? Shadow of the Erdtree. There we go. Shadow of the Erdtree, well, before you complete the game and actually go on, to become Elden Lord, you got to do some certain things to the tree. When after that does it? Is this after you become Elden Lord already? That the Shadow of Erdtree takes place? And instead of fading off to New Game Plus, you actually just continue the storyline from there? You know? Or is it somewhere in between you doing what you do to the Erdtree and then this taking place? Or do you gotta like do certain things in order for the Shadow of the Erdtree to... I don't know how they're gonna go about it, but there is a lot of potential here for a lot more content from just this alone. And from what it sounds like, is currently in development. That does not mean it just started, but it could also mean it just started. We don't know how long they've been working on it. I'm assuming they've been working on it for a while now. I don't know how long before they make these announcements and an actual... Because, like if they're doing an expansion, it's going to take longer than a typical DLC. Which also means we could theoretically be... Like, I'm just so freaking hyped. Like, holy cow. Could we get multiple new zones? Because if you look at the map in Elden Ring, there's a lot of space where they could just add stuff. Like a new continent, for example. They could just add a new continent somewhere, a new area in the map. I'm not sure where they would add it. Is it going to be further up north? Is it going to be, closer to the start of the game? Or is it going to be off to the right outside of the map? I don't know. And I'm excited. I'm really excited. I just got done nearly completing the game again. And then something came up and stopped me from completing it like last time. This time it was that disease that went around the world a few years ago. And that kind of knocked me off for a couple weeks where I didn't want to attempt to touch Elden Ring until I was feeling like, healthy, like fully healthy, fully recovered again, because I don't want the rest of the experience of the game. Even if I have to start the game over and do the 100 plus hours again that I spent basically clearing out as many dungeons as possible. Just for this. I don't mind doing that again this year. Because holy crap. I think it's going to be at the earliest middle to late this year. That's my absolute, that's like my earliest guess. Unless they already got a lot of this stuff done and they have a good system in place where they can make this content relatively easily. like a good workflow, like a very efficient workflow. But now I'm thinking mid to late 2023 is going to be the earliest time we will see this. I mean, of course, to be honest, we're almost 3 months into 2023. So, yeah. I am definitely very excited for this game. You even got like Asmongold going, yes. And I agree. This is, when I seen this, I'm like, I know I should get up and maybe talk about this and do a video, but it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to just go back to sleep and then wake up and then talk about it because I'll be all sleep deprived and I'll probably miss some stuff. Either way, you can even see the Erdtree, like a shadowy version of it, right in the background. You got like some ghosts right here, looks like, and you got someone on horse. You got like these like ruins, like 4 of them that I can see. You got the foggy. This is really good. I really like this. I don't know. Like, I don't honestly know what to expect from an expansion, because that's the thing. I don't think From Software has done an expansion for a game. They've done DLC for games where they added quite a bit of content that is far superior to Horse Armor by a lot, because, well, it's freaking Horse Armor. It's not too hard to surpass that. But this implies the fact that they come out and say an expansion versus a DLC. This implies something larger than they've done before. And they went like big dick on trying to make Elden Ring. They said, okay, we love Dark Souls. Let's try something bigger and more ambitious. And they did that. What better way to get more ambitious than an expansion for your biggest like game that I think they've ever made? I'm all for it. I really want to see what their expansion looks like at the end. I don't know when it's going to release, but I got to get on that as soon as possible when it does release. Because I don't like being spoiled. Like I didn't get into Elden Ring until a couple months afterwards because I heard the PC port wasn't as good. And for surprisingly, I didn't get spoiled like really at all for like the 2 months that I did not touch Elden Ring or anything at all. But when I did get it, yep, top tier game, one of the best games of all time. Like, I'm a person who tried to get into Dark Souls 1, did a couple bosses, just wasn't grabbing me. I didn't hate the game, but it just wasn't grabbing me. Like, it wasn't grabbing my attention. It wasn't like okay, this is awesome. I mean, some parts, yes, they were awesome. I was like, yeah, this is cool, but it just still wasn't grabbing me for whatever reason. Dark Souls 2 did the same thing. Fought like 1 or 2 bosses. Enjoyed the game, enjoyed the music, enjoyed the parts that I played anyways. And I haven't touched Dark Souls 3. Didn't touch Sekiro. Obviously, I did not touch Demon Souls or Bloodborne because it's not on PC. But when I played this game, I'm guaranteed to go get into those games at some point. Probably after I get my full, like, experience from Elden Ring. Because, my God, I've never seen, like, there's just so much in here that they did right that I would love to see more content from this game. I would not mind if they were to do, like, 2 or 3 expansions. I would preferably say 3 expansions, but Elden Ring is a type of, like, the From Software is a type of developer that they'll just make what they want to make, and once they're done making it, they're on to whatever the next is. If they don't have the content that they want to do for, like, multiple expansions, they're not going to. But maybe with how big this is, maybe they did have the, backup, like, potential plans, like, hey, you know what? This is really successful. We'll do multiple expansions for this game. Or maybe they won't. I don't know, because, like, this is like one of those games that you just never want it to end. So, I think I've rambled on long enough on this. So, the TLDR, if you skip to the end of the video to get the full explanation, DLC versus expansion, DLC can be anything. It could be just a silly little microtransaction, or it could be what you're getting here, from what it seems like, an expansion, which is a large amount of content, and it is usually at the end of the game. So whatever happens in the beginning of the game, expansion is usually something that adds on to the base game. But that also is up for interpretation. Could just means it just adds content to the side, like fills out in the middle area. But maybe that's why when you get, like, maybe towards the end, maybe it'll flesh out some of the, like, areas at the end of the game, or it seems like you have more to explore at the end. Because, like, once you get towards the end, it kind of bottlenecks you into, like, a certain spot. Maybe that'll help flesh that out. Maybe it won't. I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.